Walmart now saying it must raise prices to deal with the cost of tariffs.
You walk into your favorite grocery store, toss a carton of eggs into your cart, and think nothing of it. But what if those eggs sitting neatly on a refrigerated shelf were part of a batch linked to salmonella, animal cruelty investigations, or failed health inspections? What if the store knew and still sold them to you? In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 major grocery stores where buying eggs might not just be a waste of money, it could be a serious risk to your health. And trust us, some of the names on this list will absolutely shock you. Walmart is one of the most recognizable retail giants in America, known for its low prices and massive selection. But when it comes to their eggs, the story gets a lot more complicated. In recent years, multiple investigations have revealed disturbing conditions at farms supplying eggs to Walmart. We're talking about cramped cages where hens can't even spread their wings, covered in feces and open wounds. In one undercover video released by a major animal welfare group, workers were seen violently handling birds and discarding live chicks like trash. Even though Walmart publicly promised to go cage-free by 2025, many of their egg suppliers still use these outdated and inhumane practices. What's worse, a class action lawsuit alleged that some of these eggs were labeled as humane or farm fresh, misleading customers who were trying to shop ethically. Emotionally, it's hard to stomach the idea that your morning omelet might come from such cruelty, especially when you're trusting a national brand to deliver safe, honest food. And if you think the damage stops at ethics, think again. Poor farm conditions have been directly linked to higher risks of salmonella outbreaks. That's right, dirty facilities don't just affect the chickens, they put your health on the line too. And just when you think you've heard the worst of it, the next store on this list takes the egg controversy even further. And Dollar General has become a go-to for families looking to stretch their grocery budget. With eggs priced lower than most supermarkets, it might seem like a great deal at first glance. But behind that price tag lies a disturbing truth. Reports have surfaced revealing that some Dollar General locations have stocked expired or nearly expired eggs, with inconsistent refrigeration that puts consumer safety at risk. One investigative report even found eggs sitting in coolers that didn't meet basic food safety standards. And in one shocking case, a customer claimed their eggs reeked of sulfur and were covered in slime, only to discover they had been expired for over 2 weeks. That's not just gross, it's dangerous. Eggs past their prime can carry harmful bacteria, and when you're feeding your family, you can't afford to take that risk. What's worse is that Dollar General has been cited for food safety violations more than once, including issues with temperature regulation and product rotation. Employees have spoken out about understaffed stores and lack of proper training, making it all too easy for expired items to remain on shelves unnoticed. And for many shoppers in rural communities, Dollar General is the only accessible store, meaning they may not have safer alternatives. It's unsettling to think a store trusted by millions could be putting them at risk just to save a few cents. But if you think Dollar General's egg problems are shocking, just wait until you hear what's happening behind the scenes at the next grocery chain. Family Dollar may promise affordability, but the real cost of their eggs might be your safety. In 2022, the FDA launched a massive investigation into a Family Dollar distribution center in Arkansas, and what they found was nothing short of horrifying. Rodent infestations, feces-covered storage areas, and decaying animal carcasses were discovered in the same facility that distributed food, including eggs, to hundreds of stores across multiple states. Yes, you read that right. Eggs from that facility were shipped out to unsuspecting shoppers, many of whom had no idea their breakfast might have come from a rat-infested warehouse. The FDA issued a recall affecting over 400 stores, and public confidence in Family Dollar's food safety practices plummeted. The company tried to do damage control, but the damage was already done. Consumers shared photos of eggs with cracked shells, strange smells, and unusual textures, all signs of mishandling. But here's the real kicker. Even after the recall, some stores reportedly kept those eggs on shelves, ignoring the warnings and continuing to sell tainted goods. When saving a couple of dollars on eggs could mean exposing your family to salmonella or worse, is it really worth the risk? Family Dollar's promise of low prices seems less like a bargain and more like a gamble. And if you think this chain scandal was shocking, the next grocery store on our list is even more disturbing because they sell a premium image, but their eggs tell a very different story. Whole Foods markets itself as the gold standard of healthy, ethical shopping. Their carefully curated aisles, organic labels, and premium price tags all suggest that what you're getting is top quality. But when it comes to eggs, some insiders say the reality behind the scenes doesn't match the picture-perfect marketing. In recent years, multiple investigations have raised serious questions about the validity of the organic and humane labels on their egg cartons. While Whole Foods claims to source from ethical farms, hidden camera footage from advocacy groups revealed that several of their egg suppliers housed hens in overcrowded barns with minimal access to the outdoors, falling far short of the idyllic free-range image customers expect. The USDA's organic standards are surprisingly lenient, allowing for practices that many consumers would find unacceptable. And Whole Foods, despite their branding, has often taken advantage of those loopholes. Customers are essentially paying double or triple the price for eggs that may come from operations not much better than the big factory farms. One former employee even described how store managers were trained to deflect questions about sourcing, focusing instead on brand image and buzzwords like non-GMO and sustainable. It's a slick shell game where perception replaces transparency. So while you might think you're making a healthy, ethical choice, the truth is you could just be falling for some of the most expensive greenwashing in the grocery industry. And trust us, the next store might be even worse because it combines corporate power with shocking disregard for food quality. And Target has become a go-to spot for almost everything, from clothing to electronics, and yes, groceries. With its clean aisles and sleek branding, most shoppers assume the food on its shelves is held to higher standards than your average discount chain. But when it comes to eggs, Target might not be as trustworthy as it seems. Their popular store brand, Good & Gather, has been under scrutiny for sourcing eggs from large-scale industrial farms that prioritize volume over welfare or safety. Reports have surfaced highlighting conditions in which thousands of hens are crammed into cages with barely enough room to move, creating a breeding ground for disease and contamination. What's even more troubling is that some of these facilities have had repeat violations of food safety regulations, including issues with salmonella control and unsanitary environments, and yet Target continues to source from these suppliers, largely because the low costs allow them to compete with budget-focused grocery chains without raising prices. Former workers in Target's supply chain have come forward with testimonies about lack of oversight and pressure to cut corners on quality assurance. Customers might assume that the slick packaging and farm-fresh labels mean the eggs are a safe bet, but those phrases are marketing terms, not regulated standards. Behind that iconic red bullseye is a web of cost-cutting strategies that could put consumers at risk. And the most unsettling part, many of these eggs land on shelves without any indication of their true origin, so next time you're tempted by a carton at Target, you may want to think twice. But don't go anywhere, because our conclusion doesn't just tie all of this together, it might change the way you shop forever. If you've made it this far and your jaw's been dropping like ours with every store we've revealed, here's the deal. This kind of truth rarely gets talked about. And if exposing these hidden food industry risks matters to you even half as much as it does to us, take 1 second right now to hit that like button and subscribe. It's completely free, but every single click helps us keep digging, keep uncovering, and keep bringing the truth straight to your screen. Plus, the more support we get, the more power we have to hold these companies accountable. So if you believe in smarter shopping, safer food, and not getting fooled by shiny labels, help us spread the word. And trust us, you're going to want to see what's still coming up, because what we reveal in the next stores, it'll leave you questioning way more than just where you buy your eggs. Now let's talk about the dollar stores. Yes, they're convenient. Yes, they're cheap. And yes, you'll probably spot a dozen egg cartons stacked in their tiny refrigerated section. But here's what most shoppers don't realize. Eggs from dollar stores often come from deeply discounted surplus suppliers. These are eggs that may have been sitting in warehouses longer than they should, and while they technically meet safety regulations, their freshness is often questionable at best. In fact, a 2022 investigation by a consumer watchdog group found that eggs purchased from multiple dollar store locations in the South had sell-by dates that were already expired at the time of purchase. Some cartons had no labels at all. A former logistics coordinator admitted that turnover for refrigerated items in dollar stores is extremely unpredictable, which means products can sit longer than intended before ever hitting the shelf. Imagine making breakfast for your kids with those eggs, only to find out later they weren't even supposed to be on sale anymore. And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear about the next store, where the eggs look perfect, but the scandal behind their production is anything but. At first glance, Whole Foods might seem like the safest bet when it comes to buying eggs. With pristine displays, labels like organic, free range, and ethical, and prices that could rival a steakhouse, many customers assume they're getting the absolute best. But the truth behind some of those luxury labels might leave you questioning everything. In 2023, a group of investigative journalists uncovered that several Whole Foods egg suppliers, especially those producing their popular 365 organic and pasture-raised selections, were under scrutiny for misleading welfare claims. Video footage from farms supplying to the chain showed birds crammed together indoors, minimal outdoor access, and living conditions that barely met the threshold for the cage-free label, let alone anything truly humane. One whistleblower revealed that the audit processes were often rushed or pre-announced, giving farms time to clean up just before inspections. So while shoppers thought they were buying happy, healthy eggs from roaming chickens, they were actually funding a system that cleverly dances around loopholes. If you're spending nearly double on a dozen eggs, wouldn't you expect more than smoke and mirrors? Stay with us, because before we wrap up, we've got one more powerful truth that ties this whole story together. So what's the real takeaway from all this? Not every egg carton on the shelf is as innocent as it looks. Whether it's moldy stock slipping past quality checks, unethical sourcing practices that exploit both animals and workers, or outright deception in labeling and freshness dates, some grocery stores are playing a dirty game with something as basic as eggs. This isn't just about breakfast, it's about trust, transparency, and protecting yourself and your family from getting scammed or worse. So next time you're reaching for that dozen, remember what we uncovered today. Read the label, check the condition, and don't assume the big name stores have your best interests at heart. Stay sharp, stay informed, and remember, sometimes the truth really does come in a cracked shell.